Have you ever lost control of yourself? You told yourself to stay calm, but the words came out anyway. You slammed the door, raised your voice, or said something you wish you hadn't. And for a moment, it felt powerful, like you'd finally defended yourself. But later, when the noise was gone, you felt it. That emptiness, that regret that burns deeper than the anger ever did. Marcus Aurelius knew that feeling. He ruled an empire surrounded by betrayal, greed, and constant disrespect. He had every reason to lash out and every weapon to do it. But he didn't. Because he understood that anger doesn't prove strength. It exposes weakness. In this video, you'll see how Marcus learned to control his anger before it ruled him, and how you can do the same. Before we dive into the content, I ask you to subscribe to the channel and comment below. What have you done out of anger and later wish you never did? Power tests every man differently. For Marcus Aurelius, the test was not greed or lust. It was anger. Every insult to his rule, every betrayal by his Senate, every riot in Rome demanded that he strike back. But he didn't. Because Marcus knew that the easiest way to lose control of an empire was to lose control of yourself. Let's look at two situations that required that Marcus control his anger and how he handled it. The Senate feared Marcus's calm more than they feared his army. They mocked him behind his back, calling him the schoolteacher emperor. When he spoke of discipline and virtue, they rolled their eyes. When he sought justice instead of vengeance, they whispered that he was weak. Marcus could have silenced them all with a single decree, but he didn't. He let their arrogance burn itself out. He chose patience over punishment, reason over rage, because he knew that one moment of anger could undo years of stability. Outside the palace, chaos ruled the streets. A pandemic that came to Rome had emptied markets, and the granaries were nearly bare. Hungry mobs filled the forum, demanding bread, their anger echoing through the marble arches of the city. They cursed his name. They hurled stones at his guards. They shouted that the emperor had abandoned them. Marcus heard them from his balcony, the voices of the people he had sworn to protect turning against him. Any other ruler would have unleashed the Praetorian Guard to make an example of them. Marcus instead opened the palace granaries, sold his own household treasures, and used the money to feed the hungry. He did not answer rage with blood. He answered it with mercy. And through it all, he carried the same reminder on every page of his meditations. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus could command armies, but he refused to be commanded by anger. He had seen what fury did to men of power, how easily it made them slaves to impulse. So he held, he watched, he forgave. He walked the palace halls at night, listening to the distant cries of a restless city, knowing that the only empire he truly needed to govern was his own mind. Because Marcus understood, the fire that burns within a man can destroy him long before any enemy ever does. The Stoics called anger temporary madness. Seneca warned, "No plague has cost the human race more." Anger drives men to crime, to blood, to ruin. To them, rage was not strength, it was slavery. A man in rage becomes a beast, all instinct, no reason. Marcus examined this disease within himself. He treated his emotions as a general studies a battlefield, mapping the terrain, predicting ambushes. When insulted, he asked, "Does this truly harm me, or only my opinion of it?" he discovered what modern science later confirmed, that anger, left unfed, dies in less than 2 minutes. But if you feed it with thought, if you replay the insult, if you justify the fire, you keep it alive. Marcus learned to starve it. He waited, he delayed, he observed. Because the man who can pause before reacting already commands more power than the one who shouts first. Epictetus had taught, if someone insults you, remember, it is his opinion. You are not the thing he says you are. Marcus lived by that. He understood that the words of others only wound if your pride allows entry. You cannot be humiliated by something that does not define you. He dissected every spark of anger until nothing remained but reason. Because for the Stoics, the measure of a man was not how loudly he fought the world, but how quietly he ruled himself. Men today live under the same fire, but instead of swords and riots, the battles happen behind screens, in offices, in beds. You think anger gives you strength, but look closer. It steals your time. It breaks your focus. It poisons your relationships. It rewires your brain to crave the chaos it claims to hate. Every time you explode, you train yourself to lose control faster next time. Every time you hold the grudge, you surrender another piece of peace. Seneca called anger self-inflicted punishment. You lash out at others, but it is your heart that suffers the wound. Think of it. A man argues with his wife, and in his fury says what cannot be unsaid. A man gets humiliated at work, and his pride drives him to quit the job that fed his family. A man loses his temper online and wakes up the next day branded by words that cannot be deleted. Anger always feels justified in the moment, but look at the wreckage afterwards, and you'll see who it really served. As Marcus wrote, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it. Marcus did not overcome anger through illusion. He fought it with practice, daily, brutally, without compromise. He had tools, weapons of discipline forged in philosophy. Let's go through them so that you can apply them too. Delay. Seneca said, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Anger demands instant action. It wants to strike. But if you wait, even a minute, the fire begins to starve. Science agrees, a surge of anger lasts less than 90 seconds if ignored. So when insulted, do nothing. Let the moment pass. Wait until reason returns. Reframe. Change the way you look at others. When another blames you, Marcus wrote, remember that he does so from the opinion that it is right for him to do so. The Stoic doesn't take insult personally. He sees it as ignorance, not evil. Mortality. Marcus reminded himself daily of death, not to sadden, but to free. You will soon be dead, he told himself, and so will he who now offends you. When you remember that both of you will vanish into dust, the argument loses its weight. Duty. When fury rose, Marcus returned to work. He wrote, do your duty. Do it without complaint. Do it as if it were the last act of your life. He replaced emotion with motion. He turned wrath into action, pain into purpose. Modern men do the opposite. They stop everything to indulge in outrage. They lose hours, days, months fighting ghosts. Marcus refused to pause his empire to feed his pride. He ruled his temper so he could rule the world. You may not command empires, but you fight smaller rebellions every day. The coworker who disrespects you. The stranger who provokes you online. The partner who knows exactly which word will cut deepest. Every insult is a test, a chance to rule yourself or to be ruled. The weak man reacts. The strong man restrains, because anger may feel powerful, but it's never the strong who are controlled by feeling. It's the weak. Look around. Men rage online, throwing words like stones at invisible enemies. Others rage in silence, rotting behind their own pride. And yet Marcus whispers across centuries, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When you respond to fire with fire, you burn alongside your foe. When you respond with calm, you watch the fire die without ever touching you. A man who rules himself commands more than armies, because self-control is the final empire. So when the fire rises, wait. When the insult hits, breathe. When the anger burns, remember, it is only a moment. Marcus faced plague, betrayal, rebellion, and refused to hate. You face disrespect and think yourself justified. But the scale does not matter. The law remains the same. A man who controls himself holds more power than any emperor who cannot. Because kingdoms fall, wealth fades, bodies decay. But mastery of the self, that endures. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, so hold the line. Do not shout, do not curse, do not break. Let your calm be your violence. Let your silence be your sword. Because the world does not need more angry men. It needs men who can hold fire and not burn." If you like this video, please subscribe. You can comment below a topic you want me to use philosophy to cover. See you in the next one.